This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
I can't help but feel good. I can't help but feel fine. Everything is in its place and everything is mine. I can't help but feel good. I can't help but feel fine. Everything is in its place and all of it is mine. I can't help but smile. I can't help but smile. I'm reinventing myself. I'm me and nobody else. I'm reinventing myself. I'm me and nobody else.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. I know it. We kind of always talk about it. Yeah, it doesn't matter who the host is. What matters is who the listeners are. Anyways, how are you? I mean, I hope you're enjoying already this Whip 'em Out Wednesday and not experiencing what I get to experience, where my homeowners association decides to send me an email at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Anyways, today's Wednesday, October the 18th of 2023, day 291st of the year, and only 74 days left to go. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio Big.
Oh yes, hanging out at Radio Big, doing all the fun stuff that we get to do, because that is what we do around here, doing all the thingos, for sure, as the world actually continues to move forward with everything that is going on. It's always quite fantastic as you and I get to hang out on Monday, well, I guess Monday through Friday, throughout the week, unless you know me in my personal life, and then we might be able to spend some more time together, and then you'll go, what the hell is going on with you? And we'll have all kinds of other discussions that we can talk about. So anyways, if you're not familiar with the show, let's talk about what exactly this is going to consist of. We talk about safety, we talk about the news, we talk about safety in the news, and that's kind of how the gamut of things goes about. Once that occurs, we bring in some professional broadcasters to talk about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the news. I give you some versionality of a main story, and then we kind of go from there. If you want to interact with the show at any point, call-in radio is the best way to do it. Call-in radio will get you into our system. As you can see on the scroller, if you're on the video streaming service, it'll tell you exactly how to come about it. If not, you can use the social media platforms, but we normally don't respond to them until post-event, which is not that exciting for some. I know, I say that all the time. So that's the stuff you have to think about. So it gives you video, gives you audio, and it gives you text messaging at call-in radio. Yeah, we keep on debating about this phone system thing, but I'm kind of up in the air about it. We had the 800 number for quite some time, and it was exciting. It was exciting to have the 888 number or the 866 number or whatever the hell number it was. But yeah, we did that for a period of time, and then it kind of went dunzo. And then we said, let's go into this other format, and we like the other format. It's quite fantastic in regards to how it works. and it's text heavy, and I like it. So I don't know. We'll continue to debate about what the hell's going on. Anyways, it is Whip 'em Out Wednesday, which is always a crucial day in the week because it is the day to whip them out. So just keep that in mind as we are talking. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we start talking right away about what the hell was trending in the overnight.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I look at the trends of the ends, the jury's trying Sam Bankman-Fried could head into deliberation in early November following a mid-trial break in the House sales slump in 2023. We'll talk about that as we get into the shit list. The Hadid family is being harassed for their Palestinian support, and Terrell Owens gets into a heated fight on the court. We'll talk about that. What else? A royal family member adjacent will appear in the upcoming season of The Crown, which I guess that's important. We'll talk about that during hour number 2 and 3. And then we'll talk about everything that's going on inside of the world of safety and entertainment because, hey, why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we do those things? No, seriously, why would we not do those things? So we're going to talk a little bit here, little bit there about what exactly is going on. So let me explain what's going to happen here in the next little bit. Professional broadcaster Trey Thomas is hanging out this morning. Right? It's Trey out there. No, I lied to you. It's Mark Mayfield's out there this morning. I saw Trey on the way in. Sorry. Okay, so Mark Mayfield is going to talk to us this morning, as he does every morning. I don't know why I said Trey, because Trey was out there. So, Mark is here. We're going to let him bring in the news. We're not going to let him. He's going to bring in the news. He's letting us play him, is really what it is. So let's do that right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. President Biden is no longer scheduled to travel to Jordan today. Following his trip to Israel, Biden planned to meet with Arab leaders in Amman. A White House official said that after consulting with leaders in Jordan, Biden will postpone traveling to the country. Biden, in a statement, said he was outraged and deeply saddened by the explosion at a hospital in Gaza Tuesday that killed hundreds, adding that the U.S. stands unequivocally for the protection of civilian life. Palestinian officials blame Israel, but Israel says the bombing was the result of a rocket misfire carried out by Palestinian Islamic Jihad militants. The Defense Department says it expects Israel to uphold the laws of war in its conflict with Hamas.
It should be very clear that Hamas is the one putting Palestinians or those in Gaza at great risk.
Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary Sabrina Singh says it's not clear at this time who's responsible for the missile attack on a Gaza hospital. Singh said the U.S. has provided Israel with military capabilities without conditions, but expects the nation to not target civilians. The next vote for Speaker of the House will be this morning after Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan failed to get a majority. Brian Shook fills us in.
Jordan, the top Republican nominee, confirmed the news after leaving a meeting Tuesday afternoon. Jordan went on to say he has no plans of dropping out of the Speaker battle, emphasizing he had essentially the same amount of traction as former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy did during his first vote. I'm Brian Shook.
And almost 200 decomposed bodies were removed from a Colorado funeral home. The Fremont County Sheriff's Office originally thought 115 sets of remains were improperly stored in the Return to Nature funeral home in Penrose, but now they say at least 189 were removed. The funeral home offers green burials in which the body isn't cremated or embalmed. Colorado law says that green burials are legal, but remains not buried within 24 hours must be properly refrigerated. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. US President Joe Biden's in Israel to discuss the conflict in the region, but will only meet Israeli leaders. It follows a blast at a hospital in Gaza, which is thought to have killed hundreds of people. Ugandan police say suspected terrorists have killed 2 tourists and their driver near a national park. And China's economy is performing slightly better than expected, even though growth continues to slow, according to the latest data.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Missing persons flyers being put up in San Diego calling attention to victims of the Israel-Hamas war are causing controversy. Trey Thomas explains.
Ina Valavi, with the group organizing the flyers, says they're only putting them up in public places.
We are asking people to put it only in public places to respect the communities. Publishing these stories of the people that cannot speak is the freedom of speech. It is not a hate crime.
But local Islamic groups are concerned about the flyers and reported them to police as possible hate incidents. Some were reportedly found at the Islamic Center of San Diego and Claremont. I'm Trey Thomas.
The Defense Department says there's been an increase in coercive and risky behavior by Chinese aircraft towards the U.S. in the East and South China Seas. Assistant Secretary of Defense for Indo-Pacific Security Affairs Eli Ratner told reporters there have been more than 180 incidents since 2021. In one instance, an armed Chinese fighter jet approached a military aircraft at a speed of hundreds of miles per hour and closed to just 30 feet away. Officials released pictures and videos of such instances to the public. Ratner said China is attempting to interfere with the U.S. military's ability to operate in the region. Alex Murdaugh's murder case is headed back to court after allegations of jury tampering. Lisa Taylor reports.
The South Carolina Court of Appeals granted Murdaugh's motion to suspend his conviction appeal. That's the first step for the fraudster's attempt for a new murder trial after his initial conviction in March for the killing of his wife and son. His attorney said in a statement that the recent ruling to stay the appeal and remand the case for a hearing on Alex Murdaugh's motion for a new trial is welcome news. I'm Lisa Taylor.
And the Philadelphia Phillies are just 2 wins away from advancing to the World Series for the second straight year. Kyle Schwarber hit 2 of the Phils' 3 solo home runs as they crushed the Diamondbacks 10-0 in Game 2 of the NLCS in Philadelphia. The Arizona Diamondbacks host Game 3 of the series on Thursday in Phoenix. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks. So with the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef prepared, dietitian approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have anybody to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, too stupid is what it is. I agree 100% with you and your sentiments. Anyways, it is 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesday. So just keep that in mind as we are hanging and banging and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. Anyway, so let's keep it on track and talk about the things that are going on inside of the world. So taking it up from the very top of the shit list, it goes something like this. Prosecutors are trying Sam Bankman-Fried for fraud, said yesterday. They expect to wrap up their witness examination on Thursday. At this point, Judge Louis Kaplan is reportedly attending a conference for a week. And the prosecution closing arguments will resume the following Thursday. Lawyers for SBF say that they expected to need a week and a half for their case. It's if they even make much of that kind of effort, there's still the possibility that SBF gets on the stand himself, though very unlikely on what's going on. So hold on, I want to know about this conference thing, because listen, I mean, you have a trial going on, and hey. You said, I'm taking a pause for the cause, and we have a whole thing that we have to do, that I'm going on a conference. So with me going on a conference, you're SOL. Yeah, that's the way that it sounds. So keep that in mind as we are talking. Take a listen to this. Sales of existing and previously owned homes will hit a 12-year low in 2023. Analysts expected the trend to continue downward next year amid increased interest rates that will almost certainly remain elevated. The good news, the last slowdown resulted from a spike of foreclosures in a bad economy. This time, while the economy remains precautiously propped up by the government intervention, people don't want to move and take on a mortgage with higher rates. Meanwhile, the National Association of Realtors reports that home affordability has fallen to the lowest level since 1985 as a function of bigger borrowing cost. So there you go. So I would have to say it this way. If you're looking at purchasing a home, now might not be the perfect time. I mean, unless you just have the deal of the century, it might kind of be a hard one to swallow with the interest rates on how they are. But hey, listen, I am not a CPA or a financial counselor, so you have to make the decision for yourself on what you think is going to be best for you and your family. Oh yeah, am I supposed to do that thing there?
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so here we go. General Motors says that it's pushing back production of fully electric trucks until sometime of 2025, scrapping plans to expand the offering next year. The EV trucks will eventually get produced in Detroit at the same facility that manufacturers have the Chevy Volt, which will end production at the end of this year. Reps for GM say the decision has nothing to do with the ongoing United Auto Worker strike. Sure, it doesn't. Okay, so this is according to CNBC, so there you go. I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you're seeing things being pushed back and some things going on here, there's a lot of questions that have to come up. I mean, let's just not lie about it and say, oh, yeah, it has nothing to do with this. It has nothing to do with that. No, it has almost everything to do with this and that and so on. How could it not? I mean, like, how could it not have that? Like, seriously. So think about that for a moment. Anyways, an accident scroll from the doomed Italian city of Pompeii has sat undeciphered since the rediscovery in the 1750s until now, thanks to AI. A 21-year-old student in Nebraska used a machine learning and artificial intelligence to identify one string of letters as the Greek word of purple, among others hard-to-read scripts and letters. The scrolls themselves have sat around since, well, their discovery, and their fragile state and attempt to unfurl them has caused them to be disingenuous. Researchers have since then used advanced X-ray technology to get the glimpse inside the scrolls, and they have posted their findings on others to get the work decoding. So this is according to Vice. So we'll take a look and see what exactly happens there next. Why wouldn't you, of course? Anyways, following the Cowboys' win over the Chargers on Monday night, someone turned a $250 bet to nearly $200,000. The unnamed bettor hit 10-team parlay, meaning that he picked the winners and covered the spread on 10 specific NFL games over the weekend. The bet ultimately pocketed $199,750 for the winner. So there you go. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So there you go. There you go. A lot of fun stuff going on right there as we are talking. So let's do this real quick. Let's take a look-see around and see if we can find it, because, you know, this is the new thing, the new find of what we get to do around here. So let's go ahead. Do we even have it? No, there is no report this morning for that. That says tech report. So that's not going to do us any good. So let's do this. Let's talk real quick about some numbers, about what's going on with some moolah. So let's talk about it. The Dow ticked up about 13 points to close at 33,997 on Tuesday. The S&P was flat at it was flat. And the NASDAQ lost about 34 points to close at 15,533. West Texas Intermediate closed at $87 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $90 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.58 on Tuesday, and Bitcoin was mostly flat, trading just around $28,500. There was more than 1,660 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Tuesday, with more than 60 such cancellations. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $49 million jackpot, or a $22.2 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. That's the fun part of playing the game. It's all about the game. And now we're playing. Okay, so former Los Angeles Police Department Assistant Chief Al Labrado is speaking out for the first time since he was placed on leave earlier this month. On Tuesday, Labrado calls out his boss, LAPD Chief Michael Moore.
Before any investigation was completed, Chief Moore recklessly took significant actions inconsistent with my due process.
Labrado is accused of using Apple AirTags to track movement of a female officer whom he was having a romantic relationship with. On Tuesday, Labrado called the allegation false and accused the LAPD officials of leaking private information in an attempt to discredit him. The investigation has led to Labrado's demotion from assistant chief to commander, assistant chief to commander, and could end him being fired. Labrado says the LAPD has unfairly tried to ruin his reputation.
Having my character attacked consistently without due process in a rushed investigation by politically motivated department leadership is at best concerning.
Labrado's attorney, Jeremy Tissett, says that media falsely reported that his client was accused of stalking.
No one alleged that. No one accused that. No one investigated that. It sounds like someone who's a felon, who's a dangerous felon. This man has everything that's the opposite of that.
Okay.
They're good. They're very funny.
They're hilarious. They just be whoever they want to be.
It's just really funny.
Rated R Safety Show.
Things get weird from time to time when it comes to certain things, so there you go. Anyways, Norfolk Tides are getting a new owner, but this doesn't mean that the team is leaving town. Sarah Bartlett has the deets.
The club is being sold to Diamond Baseball Holdings. The Virginian Pilot reports that there aren't too many changes. The team, which will continue to play at Harbor Park, is still the AAA affiliate for Baltimore. General Manager Joe Gregory and the front office will remain in place, and current owner Ken Young will stay in an advisory role. Diamond Baseball Holdings owns about 20 minor league ball clubs across the country. This year, the Tides won both the International League title and the AAA championship. I'm Sarah Bartlett.
Okay, thank you, Sarah Bartlett, for that information right there. A new report shows the majority of families in Virginia struggle to pay for their children's child care. Sarah Bartlett has more.
The study comes from the Joint Legislative Audit and Review Commission and shows 80% of families with an infant or toddler can't afford child care. The research found that costs per child can be up to $440 a week or up to $22,000 a year. The findings also showed that costs of infant and toddler care exceeded 7% of the majority of Virginians' household incomes, as did preschool costs. The commission also found that there's a shortage of available child care slots for families. More information on the study can be found at jlarc.virginia.gov. I'm Sarah Bartlett.
Okay, thank you, Sarah, for that right there, for the information on what is going on. Actually, also take a listen to this. President Biden is in Tel Aviv on a wartime visit for talks with Israel Prime Minister Benjamin and other top officials of the conflict with the Palestinian militant group Hamas continues to claim lives.
I wanted to be here today for a simple reason. I want the people of Israel, the people of the world, to know where the United States stands.
Okay, Biden has been set to also visit Jordan for the summit with the Egyptian and Palestinian leaders, but that was called off after a bombing at the Palestinian hospital left hundreds dead yesterday. No official blame has been established. President Biden is in Israel today and talks to the Prime Minister, making history as the first-time president to visit a country while in war.
Your visit here is the first visit of an American president in Israel at a time of war. It is deeply, deeply moving.
Do you think that was a planned line? Because it sounds like it. I mean, I'm just saying, don't hold me hostage for that information. But think about it for a moment. That line definitely sounded like a planned line in regards of him being there at the time. What do you think?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so let's keep it inside of the world of politics for a moment, because we all love that on a Whip 'em Out Wednesday. The former Speaker of the House is hopeful Republican Jim Jordan of Ohio will soon win the Speaker gavel. Troy Thomas has more.
Jordan lost the first speaker vote Tuesday, but Congressman Kevin McCarthy of California said he went through the same process before he was elected speaker.
So now we had a vote on the floor. It didn't get to the whole point. Now we'll take a break, talk to people, and come back and solve it.
McCarthy went on to blame a handful of Republicans for siding with Democrats to grind the government to a halt. The House has been without a speaker for 2 weeks following the removal of Kevin McCarthy. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey, for that information right there on what is going on. Because, hey, we need to find out what the hell's going on. No doubt about that. Take a listen to this one. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is warning that it's only a matter of time before the asylum seekers will be sleeping on the streets. Take a listen.
Adams says the city is averaging 4,000 new migrants a week and says it's a constant battle to find new shelter space for them.
You're going to see the visual of running out of room. It's not if, it's when.
He's once again calling for federal help with the migrant crisis. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey, for that, because, hey, why would we not talk about it? I mean, it needs to be talked about, no doubt about it. Anyways, take a listen to this real quick. Colorado free application days are underway. The UCC's Director of Admission, Chris Bessinger, said that students apply for several schools to see what the financial aid package looks like.
I think they love applying to multiple schools to see a place that might not have been a possibility for them. All of a sudden it's like, well, it's free. I might as well, and then see what happens, because what we really want is kind of get students through that process.
Colorado's free application day runs through Thursday, and it allows for students to apply to all 32 state colleges, universities, and even some private institutions with no application fees. The UCCS says that it anticipates to receive at least 5,000 applications this week due to the fees being waived. I mean, let's be realistic. If I had to look back to my college career days, at least at undergrad, yeah, I think I would take a pause for the cause and take a look at what the hell is going to go around in regards to price points. I mean, why wouldn't you? So there you go. Anyways, take a listen to this real quick. Coming out of Colorado, National Transportation Safety Board investigators say a broken rail caused Sunday's deadly train derailment on I-25 near Pueblo. Retired locomotive engineer Bruce Barrett, who worked in the industry for 40 years, gave his insight on the derailment, saying that railroad tracks can break for several reasons.
That can be a mechanical thing, can be a track issue, have something fail in track caused by either weather conditions, temperature changes, something that could be metal fatigue.
Barrett said that in his experience, derails are not all that common. NTSB released a preliminary report yesterday saying that the rail was probably already broken before the coal train derailed. Investigators will now focus on what caused the broken rail and why it wasn't detected before the derailment. Several train cars fell off the tracks over the bridge that collapsed into the semi-truck below, killing the driver and spilling coal onto the highway. Governor Paulus is planning to visit the site today and work to clear and reopen I-25 in the area and continuing. So retired locomotive engineer Bruce Barrett stresses the importance of a thorough investigation.
As people, we have to understand that they need to get to the bottom of what happened so that they can have lessons learned.
Yeah, lessons learned. Think about that real quick. That's what Bruce Barrett's telling us about lessons learned on what needs to be learned from this investigation. What an idea. Yeah, I like it. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk about it.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's take a move, not the Whip 'em Out Wednesday move, but let's take a move real quick in regards of what we're talking about here today. So as you just heard from Bruce Barrett, as he's discussing having over 40 years in the industry and talking about a train derailment that occurred close to Pueblo in Colorado. Isn't it interesting that he is giving you, the breakdown of what he believes has occurred, what he believes that is happening. And he's also talking about how important a thorough investigation is. I mean, think about this thing. These are all clues and words of stuff that you've heard before. And I don't mean that to be an asshole. I mean, I'm just saying that because that's stuff that you've heard before. So think about this for a moment. He's telling you some things that are super important here. He's telling you some things that you probably need to take a listen to that you could deem as important for what is going on there. Now, let's take some reverse action here. In the words that you heard him speak, are there things there that you've heard people say inside of your organization when something catastrophic happens, when an event occurs? Are these similar words? I'm just asking the question because I think it's important to discuss. I think it's important to have the conversation of what are we doing and how important is it? Because listen, we discuss these things all the time in regards of how we talk about human and organizational performance and how it ties in. But normally the next step after that is talking about something called learning teams. And I have to tell you that Bruce Barrett is using some lingo that sounds very familiar to me. He's using some lingo that it might be in the best benefit of the people that are interacting with this matter to understand. Now, think about this for a moment. You have somebody who's there that's talking that has 40 years worth of experience inside of the organization. How much information do you think they have about what's going on? Think about it. How much information do you think they understand about how the system works? Not how to do the workaround, even though they know that too, but how do you think they're able to do the things that they do? How much do you think they know? I will put it to you this way. I'm willing to bet that guy has forgotten more about the railroad service than I will ever learn about the railroad service. No, I'm being serious as I say that. Because think about it. It's 40 years. I mean, you know how much data is probably there? So think about this for a moment. If you were to grab a group of people outside of management and supervisors inside of a location currently and ask them, where is your system going to fail next? With the amount of experience that's in that room, what do you think the answers would be? What do you think that they would be able to tell you that you don't know? Because maybe you don't understand the system the way that the people that you interact with do. That's the fun part about it, is that people inside of the organization, particularly in the field, most of the time have a better understanding on how the system works than most of the people in upper management. Yeah, the upper management people, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the wrong thing here. They'll understand the nuts and bolts in regards of what needs to happen to be able to make money off of it, but they won't understand the system the way that the people that are doing the work do. Unfortunately, some people don't like me saying that out loud, but I do say it anyways, because I think it's super important to talk about. You know how this goes. I'm not saying that the people in the upper management are pencil pushers, because some people will take it that way. Not by any means whatsoever. What I'm saying here is that they will have a better understanding, meaning the people that are doing the work, than the people that are actually inside of the upper management. I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's also a reality of what we do.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobile.io. That's mobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with BIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly. Less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take BIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
I'm reinventing myself. I'm me and nobody else. I'm reinventing myself. I'm me and nobody else. Ooh, I can't help but smile. I can't help but smile. I can't help but smile. I can't help but smile.
Okay, you are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. No doubt about that. We are still broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando. Yeah, I can't help but smile. That's what's playing right here, just in case if you were wondering. This is by some Kid Penny, just in case if you were trying to figure it out. I can't help but smile. We'd like to thank Kid Penny for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. If you would like to give it a little streamer-eamer action, it is available on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. I always want to call it iTunes. I'm so old school when it comes to that.
I can't help but smile.
Yeah, I can't help but smile. There you go. There you go. Yep, some good times there. Thanks, Kid Penny, for allowing us to play this. 44 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's get into the move and the groove of the things that we need to talk about, because there's still quite a bit to talk about. Very little time to do so. That's kind of how it goes in this lifetime as we get to hang out and do all our fun stuff. But anyways, let me tell you about the most important thing that I'm going to tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. Yeah, no matter what you are facing, you deserve to be connected to help. To write Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to twloha.com. That's twloha.com. And click on the section that says Find Help. Seriously, click on the section that says Find Help. It will change everything. Seriously, it really will. To write Love on Her Arms. twloha.com. All kinds of resources available, anything from addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support resources, bipolar disorder, you name it, it's there. There is all kinds of stuff for you to be able to take a look at. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other stuff. Remember, twloha.com. Let's talk about some driving innovation. You've heard of self-driving cars, but have you ever had one delivered by mail? Yeah. Swedish startup is looking to turn to IKEA for flat-packed furniture design into a car. Lovely has developed the first model, the Zero, or maybe it's the O, which is so light that the modular that it can be flat-packed to save thousands of tons of emissions when it comes to shipping. Designed for urban commuting, the Lovely O has two 35-pound battery packs, and that can be switched to extended range of just 62 miles with a top speed of 55 miles per hour. The car is 37 inches shorter than the already compact Fiat 500. And check this out. It also comes with a key safety feature inspired by Formula One cars. Light but rigid aluminum chassis. Lovely cars have also a dual layer foam on the outside and inside of the vehicle skeleton to help absorb impact. Priced at $10,500, the car isn't flat packed and shipped to the customers, but to an authorized dealer for assembly. The company also plans to offer a flat-packed technology to major automotive manufacturers. Can you imagine trying to put your car together? When I get a new car, it takes me a year and a half to learn how to use the radios. Imagine that. And I've heard of all these things. As soon as my wife got the name, she decided she had to have one. So there you go. We'll see how this goes. Yeah. We've had a Fiat in our household before, so, coming in a little bit shorter, I'm sure that will be some fun times for sure.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, too funny and too stupid is a nice combination that we'll take. When we are talking. Let's keep it into the EVs for a moment. A plan to put an electric car charging station in every 50 miles along Iowa interstates is moving forward. Take a listen to this.
The Iowa DOT expects about $50 million in federal money over the next 5 years that they can use to install electric vehicle charging stations along I-80, 380, I-29, and I-35. The DOT's Stu Anderson says they'll put out applications in November, giving applicants several months to develop their proposals for installing the charging stations. I'm Wendy Wild.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to go well. In regard to that. Oh, look at this. We have our Money Matters finally showing up now. Isn't this funny? So there you go. What else do we have? Let's see. You can save a little money when shopping this weekend in Virginia. Richard Sterling has more.
Lawmakers designated this Friday through Sunday as this year's state sales tax holiday. During budget negotiations back in March, lawmakers forgot to renew the sales tax holiday and the legislation expired. Families were not able to take advantage of the savings normally offered in August, as in previous years when people usually shop for back-to-school items. Later, the sales tax holiday was approved, allowing Virginians to buy qualifying items without paying the state's 5.3% sales tax. You can find a detailed list of qualifying items on the Virginia Department of Taxation website. I'm Richard Stelling.
Okay, thank you, Richard Stelling, for that 5.3 sales tax. Well, that sounds like a deal and a half. I guess I just live in the wrong places. Anyway, San Diego elected leaders and community members are demanding stronger enforcement on flavored tobacco sales. Phil Farrar has more.
The city actually passed a ban on the sale of flavored tobacco products, but not everyone is adhering. Adrian Kwiatkowski is with the San Diego versus Big Tobacco and says those products need to be taken off the streets.
City attorney went after two companies with multiple locations, both in the city and in the region. Their investigators bought these products multiple times to identify a pattern.
That pattern, flavored vaping cartridges, some with menthol, candy filled with tobacco. Now the city attorney in court to harden a law that's already been passed. I'm Phil Farrar.
Okay, thank you, Phil, for that information right there. Let's talk a little bit real quick about this one. Former President Trump is appealing a gag order that prevents him from verbally attacking others in his January 6th election interference case. Brian Shook reports.
The notice doesn't include legal arguments, but his legal team is expected to challenge the order on the grounds of free speech. That comes just a day after Judge Tanya Chutkin seemed to side with prosecutors in restricting Trump's language, prohibiting him from speech targeting expected witnesses and court personnel. I'm Brian Shook.
Okay, thank you, Brian, for that. That's going to sound interesting to be able to uphold. A 22-year-old suspect has been arrested for helping steal more than $200,000 from a 65-year-old woman in San Diego during an elder care abuse scam. Jack Cronin has more.
District Attorney Summer Steffen says suspects have stolen more than $120 million in San Diego County the last 2 years, with scammers telling older people their computers or bank accounts are frozen and they need to deliver gift cards, cryptocurrency, or cash.
In 2022, have reports of 1,800 victims of senior fraud at the tune of $49 million. This year, that number is already closer to the mid-70 million.
In this case, a courier from the Los Angeles area, Ji Gao, was arrested for picking up the money from the woman and trying to deliver it to an international group that would immediately take it out of the country. I'm Jack Cronin.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jack, for the information right there. Take a listen to this real quick. Ex-users who open a new account in the Philippines and New Zealand are now being charged to use the site. The social media platform formerly known as Twitter says that the $1 annual charge is aimed at combating bots. A post in the X-Help Center says they started testing a new program on Tuesday called Not a Bot, which it is designated to reduce spam and bot activities. The new program will not affect existing users in those two countries. So that makes it kind of interesting in regards of the people that were doing the body-yaddy stuff. So there you go. Anyways, 52 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's do this. Let me take a look-see around here, because I think it's time. Why would it not be time? I mean, would it be time? I mean, I don't never know. Maybe we should talk about the health beat. Let's just do it that way. Let's bring some Sarah Lee Kessler inside of here.
A recent study is ranking Georgia as the worst state in the nation for health care. The Peach State falling to the bottom of the pack in a comparison by Forbes, that due to a high number of residents without health care coverage and those who choose not to seek care due to financial reasons. Minnesota was listed as the best state for health care. The New York State Department of Health is issuing a standing order involving the respiratory syncytial virus vaccine. Pharmacists across the state now allowed to give that vaccine to adults who are 60 and up. Folks in that age group can suffer serious health issues if they contract RSV, and they should make an appointment, according to health experts, to get that RSV shot. RSV is highly contagious and has cold-like symptoms that can lead to pneumonia if not treated quickly enough. Health updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Apple CEO Tim Cook is in China to assess the iPhone 15's slow start in that country. The surprise visit came as initial iPhone 15 sales are down 4.5% compared to iPhone 14's early performance. China is Apple's third largest market. The chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission says artificial intelligence will almost certainly cause a financial crisis without regulation. Gary Gensler told the Financial Times that the challenge is difficult because most regulations target individuals and institutions, not something broad like the use of artificial intelligence. intelligence. He pointed to a scenario in which multiple institutions make decisions based on the same AI models, which could lead to trouble. And General Motors is delaying electric pickup truck production due to slow demand for EVs. The company says a Detroit factory was scheduled to begin production next year, but instead is going to wait until late 2025. A spokesperson for the company says the decision was not impacted by the United Auto Workers Union strike. Workers at the plant will be offered positions at other factories until production begins. Tech Report, Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that information right there. Sleepless in Iowa, you're not alone. Wendy Wild has more.
Iowans are 16th highest in the nation when it comes to insomnia caused by online gaming. The makers of OnlineSolitaire.com commissioned a study to see if their games are keeping people awake at night. They say 24% of Iowans admit they lay awake at night longer than they wish playing online games. That works out to almost 750,000 Iowans. I'm Wendy Wild.
Okay, that sounds a little scary. Maybe they need to lay off the games just for the time being. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date as I take a look around. If I go back to, let's go 1988. Roseanne debuts on ABC. It starred Roseanne Barr and John Goodman. The show would run for 9 years. George Clooney even had a stint for a while in playing Roseanne's boss. That happened back in 1988 on this day. If we're talking about some birthdays for today, Elena Springsteen turns 23. Tyler Posey turns 32. Brittany Grenier turns 33. Jordan Calloway, 33. Riley Green, 35. Zac Efron, 36. Lindsey Vonn, 39. Neo turns 44. Baby Bash, 48. And Jean-Claude Van Damme, he turns 63 today. And Mike Ditka, he turns 84. So there you go. There's some birthdays that are going on today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I always have some of those to share with you. It's National Missouri Day, Global Dignity Day, Global Ethics Day, National Chocolate Cupcake Day, Hagfish Day, National No Beard Day, and World Menopause Day. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. No doubt about it. I mean, what else did you think? Let's talk about Did You Know on this lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesday. A new study has changed everything pet researchers thought they knew about a cat's purr. Researchers at the University of Vienna found that the special pad in the vocal folds that help the cats these lower frequency noises. Even more surprisingly, the team found that cats don't need to constantly send signals from their brain in order to keep purring. This is a major departure from the scientists that have thought for decades this information. Simply put, the cats start rolling out their long purr. This behavior appears to be on autopilot. They'll keep going without having to think about it. Unlikely you, who will continuously think that about the cat crushing your leg, and they can bear to disturb because its purring is so darn cutesy wootsy. So there you go. Some stuff to think about for sure. For sure. So there you go. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, I have one of those. I'm definitely a morning person. That's when I do get all my best sleep in. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's your absolute favorite autumn thing to do? Yeah, autumn thing to do. I don't know. I live in the same season all year round. Question for the water cooler. If you're going to do this, you probably started planning it about 45 days in advance. What is it? What to wear for Halloween? Yep, 45 days in advance. Isn't that something? So there you go. That's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me on that side of the equation. If you hang out on Safety FM, you'll get to hang out with Mr. Sheldon Primus and the business of safety consulting. So I'll be over at radiobig.fm if you want to come and listen to the world of music and entertainment. Safety FM will have Sheldon Primus. So there you go. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do what we do around here, no doubt about it. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. In order to carry a positive action, we must first develop a positive vision. Keep that in mind. Anyways, I know who you are. Duh. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
I can't help but feel fine. Everything is in its place and everything is mine. I can't help but feel good. I can't help but feel fine. Everything is in its place and all of it is mine. Ooh.